allegations that the State Department itself may be false.
False, Yovanovitch.
In your opening statement, you had left Ukraine by the time of the July 20th. When was the first time that you
it's a Thompson Terry trial
for this phone call?
Thompson Terry trial.
When it was released publicly.
Get it on your own because, you know what I'm saying, we need to be efficient.
And prior to reading that call record, were you aware that President Trump had specifically made reference to you in that call?
No.
What was your reaction to learning that?
Well, I felt like we had to leave or whatnot, and you know what I'm saying? So that's what we had to do. So in general, even if they weren't there, we had to leave. I was like perplexed as she left because like I was like, damn, you make me do this on my own. I have barely the footwork and the hands, and like I don't know, he's trying to make me conjure this up. In general, with like you lucky I had a ticket. I mean, $1,000 for this because if I didn't, then I wouldn't have been able to put down the deposits or whatnot. Given the grind that it was, and just the epiphany I learned that I was trying to be sabotage behind it because for due jealousy or whatnot and motives of greed.
Well, without upsetting you too much, I'd like to show you the excerpts from the call. And the first one, where President Trump
excerpts from the call. Excerpts from the call.
From the United States.
Excerpts from the call. Excuse me.
News.
Look.
And the people she was dealing with in Ukraine were
excerpts from the call.
So
this is a split right here, like, such and such sabotage or whatnot, and like the high sides, everybody against you and whatnot. And Helly Hansen. Okay, I just inserted Helly Hansen because I'm like, you know what? Everybody's against me at this point, every and all. And I'm like, look, I got to get out of here in one way or another. You know what I mean? Whether it be with help or no help or something like that. Whether I walk with my dog over there, or whether I tell them, look, I have 2 dogs, and one's is and so I still can't self-incriminate myself because it still has to be under the stipulations.
She's going to go through some things.
And so that's
What did you think when President Trump told President Zelensky, when you read that you were going to go through some things?
Oh, I say he did Phil Jackson to me, you know what I'm saying? It was like, what's up? But then probably betting against me, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say probable cause, but I'd say he did a Phil Jackson on me. He said, well, let's let it unfold. And I was like, well, if you validate that to let it unfold, and like authorities as well, then I'm thinking to myself, I still got to do what I got to do.
How so?
Walk, I don't know, get there, you know what I'm saying? Make them problem, I have to go back and forth, apply at the Dollar Tree, you know what I'm saying, for a little while to get my sodas up and stuff like that. And, just eat like beef jerkies and whatnot to, lack of a better term, you feel me? And like, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, and try not to self-sabotage myself to get away from these kind of formations.
Now, in the same call where the president,
any bonus tips,
you just said, threatens you to a foreign leader, he also praises the corrupt Ukrainian prosecutor who led the false smear campaign against you. I want to show you another excerpt or two from
that's what they validate. You know what I'm saying? What they validate, they say, oh, they praise it. They praise me, but then they validate it. And I'm confused at this point.
Who was very good, and he was shut down, and that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that.
It's a hypocrisy. It's a hypocrisy. It's like, oh, we didn't know we meant to do that. It's trying to drive out of jealousy. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? We didn't think he'd make it. It was a 50-60 that he wasn't going to make it. And I'm like, you know. And so if, with inches, you say, okay, I'm going to rub you on your dog or whatnot. I'm going to rub you on your dog. But, you know, it wouldn't no get backs on what had done happen on the victimizations of it. And so I'm thinking the alignments be kind of off a little bit on, in general with the loyalties of the validations. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
The prosecutor general's office.
And so that's it. I really have nothing to say. I'm like, you know what? Hey, you could have helped me out. And I was counting on them to help me, help me out and stuff. And if it was under different circumstances, we would have been in the backyard. I would have choked them out, and I would have been that, and it would have been a different story, not a different story, but I would have been, I would have left earlier. You know what I mean?
It was disappointing. It was concerning.
And so,
it wasn't.
and so, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, let them figure it out. But then, they still blackmailing and whatnot. They still, we want the combination to the ATM, all this other stuff. We want the combination, all pig-headed, like, you know what I mean? And I know somebody's getting big, but you know what I mean? And all that, like, we've got to leave when our social worker come here. All them things we did for you, all them things we did for you, we so-called relatives, right? All of a sudden you blown up and say about a person and whatnot, and then now all of a sudden you're just like, all of a sudden you all stiff and stern with like, you know what I'm saying, with like treating us like crap and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? With all them grilled cheese sandwiches we made you and all this stuff, and took you to Disneyland and whatnot.
Was also mentioned in that July 25th call. Had plans to.
The Facebook thing, damn battery.
What did you mean by that?
I didn't.
So that's basically what I said. So, given the inertias of it alone.
Did you subsequently understand a little bit more what that meant?
I subsequently understood we had a rough relationship, but we never lived together like we did, like like when I went to Fairfield and whatnot.
Mr. Giuliani.
You know what I mean? But then it did activate Shima. Like, man, I feel like I'm in Matt Callister. I got to get out of here. This ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? This don't feel right. You know what I mean? I don't like how this feels and stuff like that. I'm trying to make it work, but this is not feeling right.
Indicted in New York.
Yeah. And I didn't know it was gonna feel that way until I got there.
Now, at the end of March, this effort by Giuliani and his associates
at 1 o'clock meeting
in the Hill publication that were based on allegations in